There's some Tony Robbins for you this Wednesday morning. A little Tony Robbins. Again, not everything is always motivation and inspiration. Some of this is just stuff we got to learn. In all honesty, getting to the life that you want is going to require a learning and what do I say? A unlearning and a relearning. There's probably some things you have to unlearn about life, about business, about money, or whatever it is, in order to relearn something new that's going to serve the next version of you, that's going to serve you to actually get to where you want to go. Because your previous thoughts, your previous what you believed you knew got you to here, which is fine. It got you here. It protected you here. It drove you here. It got you to this place you are in life. But now we want to go there. So in order to go there, the same thoughts that we had back here that got us here are not going to get us there. I hope that makes sense. And because of that, that's why we go through this process. Again, some of it is, inspiration and motivation and those types of things. Some of it is just we need to learn some new things. The institution of school is not the only way that we learn, right? I hope we all understand that. Like going back to school is just an institution. It's teaching you, but like actual self-education, actually learning how you learn, actually learning the skills and mindsets you need to be successful, to get to the life that you want, isn't going to come in the institution of school. It's going to come right here, day to day. What are we intentional about? And so what Tony Robbins just shared with you, right? His formula, one of his formulas talking about results, having a clear purpose, and massive action, taking massive action. Again, so many of us have things that we want to get to, but we might not be organized enough in our mind to actually get there. That's just learning, right? That's just a skill set. That's just something you can pick up. But you have to be aware of that. What do I always say? Awareness is the first step to change. So if you're unaware that you even are not mentally organized enough, or right, you don't know how to do these things. Well, let's first get aware, and then we can start to shift some things. But some things I wrote down right from the video: respond, don't react. This is just us getting more emotionally intelligent because that's what it's going to take for you to go off and design the life that you don't need to break from. It's going to take you to be more mentally tough and more emotionally intelligent. So, one of those areas is learning how to respond and not just react. If you become reactionary to everything, you're not controlling your life. Other things, external things, are controlling your life. You can respond to something, but reacting to something is completely different. There's a distinction. This is emotional intelligence. This is how we have to learn how to continue to grow and get to the best version of ourselves. Second thing I wrote down, right, is recognizing your pattern. Recognizing your patterns. Again, awareness is the first step to change, right? So, how aware are you of your patterns? How aware are you of what you do consistently, of mindsets that you have consistently, on all of those types of things? How aware are you? Do you recognize your thought patterns? Do you recognize the thoughts that lead you down certain things, the distractions? Are you aware? That's what I'm asking. Are you aware? Right? Hey, Ron, good to see you, man. Always good to see your face. I dropped the link back in there for you. But again, recognizing the pattern, recognizing your patterns is incredibly important for you to be able to change. Then I wrote down again that matrix that he has, right? The result, having a clear purpose, and then having a massive action plan. So if we want to change something, if we want to get to some place in our life, if we want something to change in our health, in our finances, in our relationship, in our spiritual life, in whatever those areas are that we are actively focused on, number one, what's your outcome? That's what the result part was. What's your outcome? Said another way, what do you want? Right? What you hear me say all the time, said another way, instead of just what's the outcome, what do you want? Now, it could be very small. This is right. It could be something in your health. Hey, what do I want out of this next month in my health? What do I want out of the next, whatever, 6 months in my relationship, in my finances, whatever area? But that is the most important part. You're going to hear me say that forever. Do you know what you want? Do you know what you want? Once you know what you want, second thing is, what are the reasons? Do you have a clear purpose? Do you have a clear purpose? right? Because again, you might want some things, but then you have to ask yourself, why? What's my why? Why do I want that? Do I have a clear purpose as to why I want that? Because we need the emotional motivators to keep us going. Just because we have an outcome of something that we want, but if we're not emotionally connected to it, eventually the road gets too hard. You stop because you're not emotionally driven by that thing. You're not emotionally, right, knowing and connecting with your whys as to why you want that outcome. But if you can, know your outcome, then you have to know what are the reasons I want them. And then once you write those down, the last part is the massive action plan. This is where I know a lot of people get hung up is how do I then turn this into reality? What do I need to actually do? So, right, he said, Tony Robbins said in the video, it probably starts with brainstorm. It probably starts with a brain dump. It probably starts with you getting quiet, eliminating the distractions, getting here and writing down like what is it that right I need to come up with? What would be the first steps to this? Who has the resources? Why, like how do I get to them? What does the outcome look like? Right? It's you just getting it out. And through our lives, we don't always spend time doing that, ladies and gentlemen. We don't always spend time to separate ourselves after we know what we want, after we know why we want it, then to put down an action plan of how to go do it. We think it'll just happen for us. And that's not the way this works. For us that want to go off and design our ideal life. That's what I'm talking to. Right? Again, this goes out on the internet. So I don't know who listens all the time, but I'll tell you, right? Like I'm talking to people that want to get to the next version of themselves and they want a better life. Their life might be good right now, but they want a great life. They want health, wealth, love, happiness, all the things, financials, right? All the stuff, all of it. Well, now you have to adapt certain mindsets in order to get that. And one of them is you need to have a plan for what you're doing. You need to have a plan. He even talked about, right, a project is having like multiple blocks, like multiple plans to be able to, right, go after the things that we want. That becomes a project. Know what you're after in your personal life, in your professional life. No, just know what you're after. He gave that great example of if you just, right, took everything out of your house, took it to a new place and just dumped it all on the floor, just dumped it all, it'd be chaos, right? But instead, what do? We put it in boxes. Hey, this is kitchen. Hey, this is going to be living room. Hey, this is bedroom. And even in that way of organizing, it makes sense. Question is, can you do that in your thoughts? Can you do that in your mind? Can you do that in your brain? Where you have blocks where you're like, this is this, and this is this. All right. This is a trait of the world class. That's why I open this up in the text, 177 mental toughness secrets. It says champions are masters of mental organization, like organizing your mental so that you can actually go get to the life that you want. So you're not distracted all the time. So you don't have all these fleeting thoughts or like so there's not chaos in your brain. So you haven't just dumped all the things and are thinking about all the things. You know, when I coach people and sometimes we have this conversation and they come to me and they're like, I'm not, how's things going type of question. It's like, there's so much. They've dumped all of it. So it feels like a bunch. They dumped all of it. So part of my job is to then start sorting through and being like, oh, okay, this goes over here. This goes, well, this is the main thing. So if we just focus on that, these go away, right? If we can start to get organized mentally. A lot of times when we're overly emotional, our logic goes down. So we don't tap into this mental organization part, but it's crucial for your success, ladies and gentlemen. Here's what it says in the text. It says the key trait of the world class is their ability to determine what they want, why they want it, and how to get it. Is that not what Tony Robbins just talked about? Is that not what he just said, right? Results, clear purpose, massive action plan. Said another way, what they want, why you want it, and how to get it. It's all the same. Remember, y'all, success leaves clues. Success leaves clues. There's only a certain amount of things, small things that you got to really focus on in order to be successful. It's just those few things are hard. It's hard. But it's not a lot of things you got to focus on. Again, first sentence, a key trait A key trait of the world class is their ability to determine what they want, why they want it, and how to get it. They are mentally organized, and this shows up in every aspect of their performance. Boxes, right? Every aspect of their performance. Average people wallow around, unclear about what they want and unsure if they're competent enough to get it. Instead of disciplining themselves to organize their thought process, it's easier to lose themselves in things like television, booze, drugs, and other destructive and pleasure-based activities. Amateurs are smart enough to know they should create an organized plan for their life, but opt to be distracted by outside activities. Thinking, real thinking, may be the hardest work of all. Say that one more time. Thinking, like real thinking, sitting down and thinking, using your brain, may be the hardest work of all. The world class invests a substantial amount of time planning, creating, and revising their strategy to manifest their ultimate vision. While average people spend more time organizing and planning their yearly vacation, the great ones are structuring and restructuring their lives daily. Professional performers know their mind is a moving river, making new inroads every day, and therefore requires never-ending revision of their ultimate goals and dreams. No matter what stage of the game they're in, the great ones are conscious of the value of ongoing mental organization and clarity of purpose. How conscious, how aware are you of your mental organization and your clarity of purpose, your definiteness of purpose, as Napoleon Hill says in Think and Grow Rich? Because this is a trait of the world class. Your ability to determine what you want, why you want it, and how to go get it. This is it, y'all. Like this is how we get to the life we don't need a break from. This is the blueprint. This is part of the blueprint. Remember, like I said, sometimes it's motivation and inspiration that you need to get you going, to get the engine moving, to give you the reason to sit down and write out what you want and your goals and your dreams. Sometimes you need to be pushed. You need to be right, influenced and encouraged down that path. Sometimes after you're past that and you want to do it, you need to know how to do it. You need to know how. Right? Motivation, inspiration, that dies over time. That's empty for some. But after you have that, you got to have practical, like how do I know what I want? Have I spent time to write it down? Do I take time for myself every day to write down what I'm thinking, my goals, my dreams? Do I journal? Do I write out what's in this brain up here? Because our brain's not meant for storage, it's meant for creativity. So if you're figuring out that you're not creative enough, it might be because you're storing too much up there. You're not writing it down. You're not clear. So are you doing the things you know you need to do to determine what you actually want in your finances, in your health, in your marriage, right, like in all the stuff? Like, do you write that down? It's important. And then do you write out why you want it? Do you sit with yourself to understand why you want these things? Old saying that we used to say all the time, your why should make you cry. Right? Your why should make you cry. The reasons why you are doing something should be so emotional to you. That's what helps you know that that's really what you want. Because otherwise, you might just be hearing voices of what other people have told you you should want. Until you get to the emotional part of why you want it and it makes you emotional, then you know you've hit something. Then you know you've hit something. And then we need a massive action plan of how to go get it. Let's brainstorm some ideas. This is why Napoleon Hill in Think and Grow Rich talks about, right, mastermind groups, right? Or people that you can get around 4 or 5 people and just dump ideas and mastermind, right? In scripture, it says iron sharpens iron, right? It's like this is the mindset behind it, is that you need to like get it all out and you need help thinking about it so you can get to where you got to go. But that is the process. What do you want? Why do you want it? We need to create a plan of how to go get it. Then you got to execute. Once you know all those things and all those things are in place, you got to just go execute. You just got to go do the massive action plan. If you said, I'm going to eat this way for a month, then eat that way. If you said, I'm going to, right, do this in my finances, then do that thing. Keep the promises you make to yourself after you go through the steps. Keep the promises you make to yourself. That's how you build self-confidence. That's how you build self-esteem, is because you do what you say you're going to do. You're integral to yourself. You have integrity. This is what's going to help you get to the life that you don't need to break from. It says here, the action step, or the quote up here says, in organization, there's always strength, especially is true in regard to a well-organized human being. He doesn't waste his substance, but is forever improving his mind and giving and radiating confidence. This is the benefit of organizing your mindset, ladies and gentlemen. On a scale, it says action step for today on a scale from 1 to 10 or 1 to 7, 7 being most organized, rate your mental organization skills. Rate them. Be honest with yourself. Don't be in delusion. Be honest with yourself. Rate your mental organizational skills. In other words, rate your level of mental clarity, starting with the vision for your life all the way down to scheduling your daily activities. How clear are you? If you score less than 5, it's time to revisit the vision you have for your life. After you establish a clear vision for where you want to go, your daily organizational skills and priorities will become self-evident. It all starts with what you want, ladies and gentlemen. Please remember that every single day that you wake up and you need to be intentional about the things that you're doing, is because this is about your vision. What do you actually want out of your life? Why do you want that thing? And let's put a plan in place to go get it. If you change your thinking, though, you're going to change your life. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve it. Your families deserve it. The people around you are counting on you to get the information. Not just get it, apply it. They're counting on you to be more mentally tough, more emotionally intelligent. They're depending on you to do this stuff, right? So don't take this lightly. The reason you're getting this information, the reason you're on these calls, is because you need this information to get to the life that you have envisioned in your mind. You're going to need these tools as we climb the mountain. Other people might not have the tools, might not want the tools. They might not be even climbing the mountain, but you are. So we got to get these tools. We got to practice these tools before you think you need it. Before you think you're ready for it, you need to be equipped with this stuff. Success leaves clues, ladies and gentlemen. It's a brand new month. It's July 1st. We have 6 months behind us. We have 6 months in front of us. You get to make a decision today, every single day, what you're going to be intentional about, where you're going to put your energy. So do something today that scares you, that your future self is going to thank you for. I'll see you guys back here on Friday. Love you guys. Take care.